I know that we've been saying free the nipple a lot, but have we been saying free the penis? Hello, my name is Sarah, and each passing day I regret going to film school. This past Sunday, the first episode of the second season of HBO's Euphoria premiered, and yes, I am aware that this came out nearly a week ago, and I'm very late to recording this, but I've been really busy in my life, okay? So, not all of us get to do YouTube full-time, because not all of us have good personalities. But yes, this video will probably be released as the next episode is airing. So really it's on you if you're watching this, which I hope you are. So thank you. And just know that, yeah, you can read the Wikipedia page, but Wikipedia cannot grovel for views like I can. Let's just jump right in, shall we? The title of this episode is Trying to Get into Heaven Before They Close the Door. The opening scene is a little bit of Fez's backstory, which is nice because we haven't really gone into that. And we haven't really gone into why he carries a child around with him to all these drug deals. Right off the bat, we're introduced to Fez's grandmother, who is played by the wonderful Catherine Narducci. If you've seen The Sopranos, you will recognize her. She plays Charmaine Bucco, who is Artie's wife. She is one of the only female characters in that show that doesn't have something absolutely horrible happen to her. Which, that's a win. That's a win in my book. And let me say, her introduction onto this show, whew, she starts off with a bang. Literally, she shoots Fez's father's in the kneecaps while he's getting a blowjob. Yeah, this is HBO. Which brings the penis tally of the premiere to 1. And yes, it will go up. From here on out, she's going to raise Fez. So Fez's grandmother is the one who introduced him to the drug trade. She picks up Ashtray as a baby to use as collateral, which is honestly something that I really wish I wrote. Here we also learn that Ashtray is called Ashtray because he used to chew up old cigarettes as a baby. And Fez's grandmother ends up beating up this one guy, and in the midst of it, she accidentally hits Fez on the head, causing him to black out for nearly 2 years. Fez's grandmother dies, and then he's left to take care of Ashtray. And it's from this point that we pick up from the last season of Ashtray killing Mouse with a hammer. Fezco's grandma, a motherfucking G indeed. This whole opening sequence lasts about 14 minutes, but it's not really that bad when you realize the entire episode is around an hour and 13 minutes. I mean, it's practically a feature, which I guess explains why it took so damn long to come out. So now we're at present day. Rue rides along with Fez and Ashtray to a drug deal, and Rue is snorting a shit ton of cocaine in the back. They get to an apartment complex, and Ashtray and Fez follow random dude number 1 into the apartment, while random dude number 1's girlfriend gets in the car with Rue, and they're told to be quiet. And this girlfriend, starts injecting heroin into her crotch. Now, I'm not familiar with the drug world. That might come as a shock. But is that a thing? Do you inject heroin into your vagina? I mean, I guess it makes sense. There's a lot of blood vessels down there. And while this woman is injecting heroin into her heroin, she and Rue are suddenly pulled out of the car by some thugs, I guess, and taken to where Fez and Ashtray are inside of the apartment. Bruce, who really isn't important at this point, tells them all to strip to make sure that they're not wearing wires. They all strip except for Rue, which is when we see penis number 2, who belongs to random dude number 1. And it's obviously a very high stress situation. When Rue hesitates to take off her clothing, she's then dragged into the shower by Bruce, who forces her to take off her clothing. Nobody's wearing a wire, because obviously, and then they continue the deal. Lori seems to be the leader of this whole operation, which prompts Rue to ask Fez, how many female drug dealers do you know? To which he responds, only one good one. Rue then says, shit's gotta change. And honestly, between the opening sequence and now this, season 2 of Euphoria is really getting off on a feminist foot, and that was a weird way of putting it. But I'm into it. Rue, Fez, and Ashtray then go to a New Year's Eve party where all of our main players are. We got Jules, we got Maddie, we got Kat, we got Lexi. So at the party, Lexi is looking for Cassie because they got into a really big fight on the way there and Cassie stepped out of the car, which is when we see Cassie at the gas station and Nate is there and he picks her up. He takes her to the party and they have sex in the bathroom, only to have Maddie knock on the door. Nate shouts out that it's occupied and Maddie obviously recognizes his voice and she says, "Nate?" So she knows that he's in there. What she doesn't know is that he's in Cassie. Cassie immediately starts crying because, if you weren't aware, she doesn't deal with stress very well. Maddie is yelling through the door. She asks, "Are you taking a shit at a party?" Which is a great line. And then Nate comes up with an idea. He steps out of the bathroom, Maddie enters to go pee, and the camera, on a bird's eye view angle, pans over and Cassie is hiding in the bathtub behind the shower curtain. It's like a horror movie at this point. Maddie pees and there's no toilet paper, which is my worst fear whenever I'm not at home or at somebody else's house and there's no toilet paper. And so she does that really relatable kind of waddle towards a towel that's hanging on the wall and she wipes herself and then she throws a towel behind the shower curtain and it lands on Cassie's face. Cassie's really going through it, you know? Can't catch a break. She's pregnant, and now she has piss on her face. Actually, is she still pregnant? They kind of left it there at the end of the last season, but they don't mention it once throughout this entire thing that she's pregnant. Anyways, Maddie goes to leave, but then a guy who was flirting with her before pushes her into the bathroom, and they start talking. Meanwhile, at the party, Rue meets Elliot, who is in the laundry room doing a line of cocaine, I assume. Rue joins him and does some more because she really survives off of drugs, doesn't she? Except that a few minutes later she goes into cardiac arrest. She very calmly tells Elliot to crush up some Adderall, which she then snorts, and all returns to normal. She then laughs it off, to which Elliot says, "I don't think it's a good thing that we met." Oh, Elliot, you have no idea. Fez and Lexi somehow end up on the same couch, and to be honest, this was my personal favorite moment of the entire episode. They get into a conversation about heaven and how Fez can justify selling drugs to people. He then responds by saying that diabetes kills, but they don't close down McDonald's. Lexi then cleverly says that if she were God, she would not let the CEO of McDonald's into heaven. To which he agrees. First off, I just love any scene where two complete polar opposites engage in philosophical conversation. You know, I'm a slut for it, if you will. Second, the title of this episode is literally trying to get into heaven before they close the door. They continue chatting and Lexi is still stressed about Cassie, I guess, being nowhere to be found, and so she calls her. Of course, Cassie's phone then starts to vibrate in the bathtub, alerting Maddie and this guy that somebody's there with them. The guy pulls back the curtain and says, "Oh my god, somebody's passed out here." And Maddie, oh so callously, just says, "So?" And then they leave, and Cassie is out of the clear. I also want to say that I've read a few tweets about how Sydney Sweeney is not a good actress, at least in Euphoria, and 3 out of the last 4 shows that I watched had Sydney Sweeney in them. I watched The Handmaid's Tale, White Lotus, and now Euphoria. And she has range. If you've seen any of those shows, you would know that her characters are pretty different in each of them. I'd say her Handmaid's Tale character might have a little bit to do with her Euphoria character, just in the fact that they just want love. Like, they really crave love. But yeah, I think she's a pretty great actress, and anybody who says different is just envious, honestly. Before Cassie can escape the bathroom, a guy comes in and takes a shit, which wraps up all the penises of the episode. 3 penises total. That's so many penises. Once Cassie is free from the bathroom, she's then pulled into a bedroom by McKay, who I guess shows up at the party even though he's like, what, a sophomore in college now or something? Why are you at high school parties, dude? Cassie reiterates her feelings that she just thinks they're in different places and that she doesn't think that she's a good person. I guess McKay infers that she cheated on him or something like that because he leaves very upset. After this happens, Nate gets in his face and asks McKay if he got dicked or something. I don't even know. If he dicked her. I don't know. This scene really creeps me out. And he gets in McKay's face just over and over asking if they fucked. And Jacob Elordi is too good of an actor, because at least he's really good at portraying psychopaths, because oh my god, terrifying. Jules and Rue finally reunite at the party. Jules has clearly missed her, and Rue is still very clearly angry with her for leaving. Jules asks Rue when she relapsed, and Rue very harshly responds, "The night you left." And then that's the end of their conversation. Fez gets Lexi's phone number, which is good because their chemistry is off the charts. I do wonder how quickly shit will hit the fan though. The episode then ends with a really beautiful tableau of each main character. It goes from a really dark room to flashing the lights on each major character of this season, with the backdrop of the New Year's countdown. In the extras, Sam Levinson explained that he wanted it to look like the photographs that you find of people at parties, and that was my immediate thought. Whenever I saw it happening, I thought, this looks so much like what disposables look like when they're passed around a party. And if you haven't seen the episode and you don't want to see the episode and you don't want to watch the show for whatever reason, just watch this last scene because it's so beautiful. Rue then tracks down Jules, and basically they both admit that they miss each other and they reconcile, which really begs the question of whether or not their relationship will work when Rue is not high, because the only time she feels comfortable or even able to share her feelings with Jules is when she's high, which of course is such a good struggle with their relationship, because Jules doesn't want to be with Rue when she's high. She doesn't want to have to be relied upon like that. At the end, Fez beats the absolute shit out of Nate, keeping his promise from the previous season, as Lexi watches on in complete shock. So I guess it really didn't take long. Although the promo for the next episode was released, and it seems like they're still hanging out, so I guess extreme violence isn't a deal breaker for Lexi. But yeah, that was the end of the premiere for season 2. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd put it at an 8, because the season is perfectly set up, and the cast really does a fantastic job. I was also reading that it pulled a record number for an HBO premiere, and the only reason that I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 is because at times the dialogue did seem a little corny and predictable, particularly in the gas station scene when Cassie is talking to Nate. I'm also taking a point off because I was forced to look at 3 penises this episode, and which is a wonderful segue into the tweet of the week. This is what Matt XIV tweeted. And just because it's the season premiere, I'm gonna put an honorary mention in there and include this tweet by Carter Hambly, which really, really made me laugh. One of the kids from Euphoria dropped her backpack. Oh god. All in all, it was a really successful premiere. It's pretty obvious which stories are gonna go where. You got Maddie and the guy that she was flirting with at the party. You've got Rue, Jules, and now Elliot. The secret that Cassie and Nate had sex at the party, that's obviously going to come out and drive a wedge in her and Maddie's relationship. We're probably going to see Fez and Lexi getting really close, and then that disintegrating, because it's a drama, and how can their relationship work out? And if you ever want to make a TV show that is just stunning visually and sonically, watch this show. It's probably the prettiest thing to come out in a long time. The music is great, the costumes are great. Honestly, if you want to see really great production value, watch any HBO show, but this one in particular. And lastly, watch the episode. Don't just watch this recap, because I can't do it justice. And I guess stay tuned for the next one. Hopefully I will get it out sooner. Bye bye.